stars are aglow in Tunisia. Never does it rise above. The moon is the same when above me, aglow in its cool evening light. The stars are aglow in Tunisia. Never does it come to wait. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the ones we see that shining at night in Tunisia. They have to make it to say words meant to tell a tale that's hard to be told. Each night a deeper night in a morning ages old. Cares of the day seem to vanish. The ending of day brings each wonderful night in Tunisia. Well, another day brings
Yay! Judy, Rafat, ladies and gentlemen, nice. My special guest today is Judy Rafat. Hi, Jude.
Hi, Cathy. I am so thrilled to be here. It's such a joy to see you again.
I know. We had such a nice time on your podcast.
Yeah, we did have a great time, and yeah, we'll have to do it again, right?
Yeah, well, we're doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So Judy is a Canadian who lives in Germany and has lived there for a long time and is quite well known there for her singing and her teaching. And she was her mentor was Dizzy Gillespie, and so we're gonna find out all about her.
Yeah.
So first, Judy, let's talk about growing up. In Canada, right? You were there until you moved to Germany. Is that it, or did you go somewhere else in between?
No,
Or
no, I was born in Toronto and grew up more or less. I was a couple of years in Midland, Ontario. Then I grew up in London, Ontario, where I went to university and I studied classical voice and flute. And I was always singing since I was little. My grandfather, my father, my mother sang, and my grandfather loved to sing too. And he'd take me on his knee and sing me all the tunes of Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby and Dean Martin and all the crooners from that time. And so I was only 3 years old, and I got that music in me right from the very beginning. So I was very lucky to be born into a musical family.
yeah, yeah. And so I can imagine all along the way you were like me, performing, right? A handball. I bet you were handball.
You know, when I was when I went to study at the University of Western Ontario, I was studying classical voice, but I was always interested in our big bands. But you know what, Kathy? I didn't have the courage to get up and ask them if I could sing with them because I figured, I'm a classical singer. What I don't know how to sing jazz, and I just didn't have the gumption to do that. I didn't start singing jazz till later, right? When I came over to Europe, I had just finished university and just graduated from university, and I went on tour with a rock group. Here I am in this rock group as a classical singer and a classical flutist, right? So it was an Icelandic Canadian rock group, and that was my beginning of coming over to Europe. And I didn't get into jazz until I got to Europe, till I
Is
met
why
Izzy a couple years
why
ago.
why did you actually go to Europe?
Well, actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Baha'i faith. Dizzy was
Yes,
also a Baha'i.
definitely. One of my good friends is a Baha'i.
Oh, okay. Well, you probably know Tierney Sutton. She's also Baha'i.
Yes, I knew that too. And also, actually, the person who introduced me to Tierney years ago was Jamie Finley, a guitar player, who's
Oh
a
yeah, I
Baha'i.
know him. Mhm.
Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I was on this more or less this tour with this Canadian Icelandic group, and we landed in Copenhagen.
Oh,
And we did a tour all through Scandinavia, and then we came down into Germany and traveled and toured through Europe as a Baha'i group, right? And at that time, all I had was my flute and my backpack, and that was it because I wasn't planning on staying in Europe. That was not the plan at all. And then I met my husband, who I'm still really good friends with. We're really close, but we're not married anymore. Sometimes it's better that way. Okay, and then yeah, and so that's how I ended up staying in Germany because my husband at that time was living here in Germany, and so yeah,
I went back to Canada for a while to get my staying permission. I didn't have any, I was only here as a visitor, you know, I came with my backpack and my flute and wasn't planning on staying. So I'd go back to Canada. And then I started to think, I said, do you really know this guy? I mean, you just met him? I mean, are you
Famous
really?
last words.
Yeah, right. And when I got back to, I'm trying to fix my thing here. It doesn't want to do what I want to do, so let's just do it this way.
It's pretty.
Okay. Yeah, so when I got back to Europe, first of all, I went off to, I was sort of like a hippie way back then, right? Weren't we all, Cathy?
Definitely. I was definitely one.
I was definitely one too. So I went from Canada getting my staying permission off to Iceland, where one of the musicians lived, and stayed there and started working. And, I've taken, it was beautiful. Iceland's amazing. And then I came back to Germany and I got sick really, really badly. And I broke off the engagement with my husband at that time. I thought, I don't know this guy. He can hardly speak English. I can't speak a word of German. How can this work, right? So I broke the engagement and I got really, really sick. I had gotten pneumonia in Iceland, came back and he was just bringing me back where I was living in Baden-Baden, where our group stayed. The group that I was touring with, there were still a couple of them still there after the tour. And so on that way, I got really, really sick with fever and whatever. And so he took me to the doctor. He says, she's got pneumonia. She's got to go to the hospital. Here, I do not have any health insurance in Germany. I was not planning on staying and so on. So anyways, he brought me to the hospital, took care of all the doctor bills, came and visited me and brought me everything that I needed. And I thought to myself, I think this guy's pretty damn good. I wouldn't let him go if I were you. And I was reading a book at that time. It's called The Art of Loving from Erich Fromm. Do you know that book?
I do know that book.
And I was reading it and I thought, maybe this is love. So I started appreciating how wonderful he was. Like, he didn't have to do all this. I had just broken up with him, right? And here he's taking care of all the doctor bills, because I couldn't speak a word of German at that time. Here I am in this hospital, couldn't speak a word of German, and it was really kind of a difficult situation. Three of the musicians were still there in Baden-Baden, so that they could come and visit me in the hospital. But anyways, that was the beginning of my stay in Germany. And once I got well enough, I decided I think I will marry this guy. I mean, he's wonderful. I mean, he's just something out of this world, right? So we got married. In December. That was in August. I was in hospital. In December, we got married, and that was the beginning of really migrating to Germany and my life, starting my life in Germany.
Yeah.
So.
And you must have been.
It didn't have anything to do with music. He's a scientist.
Oh.
And he's a geophysicist.
Oh.
And about a very, very wonderful guy who really is very dependable and really, he's a wonderful person. He's just a wonderful person. But scientists and musicians, they can
sometimes, but I know a guy who's both.
Okay.
A scientist and a musician and a great musician, Chuck Manning. Yeah, he's a wonderful tenor player. Yeah. So you were probably in your 20s, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was 22.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you I'm just trying to get the picture. So what part of Germany did you move to?
We moved to around Frankfurt area, which is in the middle of Germany. That's where Baha'i Center, Baha'i House of Worship is, and I got a job in Frankfurt.
Were you a Baha'i already?
I was a Baha'i in Canada. That's why I went over with this Baha'i group,
Oh, I
with
see.
Canadian Icelandic Baha'i group, to to travel and tell people about the Baha'i faith. And yeah, so when I got to Frankfurt, I got a job in the American Express Bank. I didn't have much to do with music at that time, right?
Hmm.
I started playing the guitar and singing songs for peace. And I became known as the peace singer from Germany. I sang all the songs of Joan Baez, and I was at every protest meeting there was around. And at that time, we call it the Friedensbewegung. It was the peace movement here in Germany. I don't know. Did you guys have that over there? Peace movement? Where
Well,
there was a
yeah,
lot there.
maybe. I'm not sure, of the parameters, but we definitely had a peace movement. So,
Yeah, well, this was really strong in Europe, and I got really well known just singing folk songs, like in the head voice, right? I only sang in the head voice, like
yeah,
Joan Baez did,
yeah.
and yeah, I did very well with that. I did lots of TV and radio, and recorded an album, a LP, like one of those LP records, right? Yeah, that was my first recording, called "The Dawn of the New Day."
Very
And
peaceful.
yeah, I was a real hippie. I was one of these, peace man, my gun, the long hair, peace and love and
I am a reflection of you. I
well,
remember when I saw this girl and she was so beautiful. She was sitting with this guy who was like, it was a whole guru type of experience. And I said, "Wow, you're so beautiful." And she said, "I am a reflection of you." And I never forgot that. Um, we have a few people saying hi. I just wanted to tell you, people you may know, Joyce Glasgow
yeah, Joyce she was in my 5 day challenge. Hi, Joyce. I'm just
and Gaby Cross.
oh, Gabi
Gaby
Kask.
Cross.
She's in my vocal course that just started.
Toby
Yeah.
Simmons.
Toby Simmons.
I don't know. I'm just reading the ones that look like they know you.
Toby Simmons. I don't know who Toby Simmons is,
Oh,
but
you're gonna look at the comments. Cool.
yeah, Karen
Um,
McCants.
yep, she's a friend of mine.
High faith. Okay. Wonderful. I do too. Your future husband was your guardian angel. Well, he still is my guardian angel. You know what? Sometimes I think, why don't we get back together? Because like I talk to him at least twice a day, and we go up walking together, and we go on holiday with our kids still. Like our kids love. We go skiing every Christmas to Zermatt up in the Alps. Gorgeous. You would love it, Kathy.
The Alps
No
are gorgeous.
no high rise, just rustical
Yeah.
buildings, like, and you hear the cow come by with a cowbell, and it's amazing. Have you ever seen the Matterhorn?
No, but I have been in the Alps, and I've also taken the train through the Alps where there are homes all it's like a fairy tale land.
Yes, it's like a fairy tale. And when you go to Zermatt at Christmas time, where all the snow is on the ground, and you're looking into these little windows, and they've got all of the windows only nicely, decorated. You think you're looking at a what's the name of that Courier and Ives um,
Oh yeah.
Christmas card? It's just so magical and so beautiful and so original, like really nostalgic,
Yeah.
like old from the old times, and you see the old barns and it's beautiful. It's really lovely. That's what I like about Europe, right? Like you
Yeah.
have some old buildings, and you have things that are real buildings and real stuff. No plastic. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, so you're there, you're working, you're creating, you've already gotten into singing. And so where did jazz come in?
1986, the year of peace. It's a I don't know if it's like that in the United States. It's called the year of peace here in Europe. And I decided, as a Baha'i, I wanted to contribute something to the world, and do something for this world, this year of peace. So I'm quite well known here, and so I went to our cultural department, and they said, "Hey, I'd like to do a benefits concert. What do you guys think?" And he said, "Judy, that's amazing, because we've got Willy Brandt, who was the Chancellor of Germany at that time. He was just found, I don't know, you say founding or grounding or
Starting, creating, founding, probably. Uh-huh.
his fund. It's called Development and Freedom, called Entwicklung und Frieden in German, of course, no? And he said, if we could get Willy Brandt on this concert to be the what do you call it, umbrella, or
the host, or the
host, the guy who overlooks the whole concert, is under his
yeah.
ever.
Uh-huh.
And they said, well, actually, we need somebody who's going to be the star of this program, because I wanted to make a program that was all with different types of music, right? Like, I wanted to show the diversity, unity and diversity. I wanted to have, some dance groups from Mexico, and a jazz group and a pop group. So we got this whole set up, and I said, well, how about Dizzy Gillespie? And they're like, you're going to get Dizzy Gillespie over here, sure. And I said, well, I can try. And so, because he's a Baha'i and I'm a Baha'i, but I mean, there are millions of Baha'is all over the world. Why this happened, it was just fate, I think. So I got Dizzy's telephone number, called Dizzy up. Here he is, this beautiful picture here on my wall. I is always overlooking me every single day, taking care of me. And as soon as I talked to him on the phone, all of a sudden you think there was electricity in the line or whatever. And I was telling him about this peace concert. We'd love to have him as the star of the whole program, of the whole show. And he said, well, I said, we're thinking of, asking Willy Brandt. He said, Willy Brandt? If you can get Willy Brandt, I'm coming, because he was a great admirer of Willy Brandt. Willy Brandt is, I don't know, you probably don't know Willy Brandt,
No.
coming from America, but Willy Brandt was a very, very, he really was a very, very, how do you say this in English? He was a very integer, and really made a lot of great changes in the policies in Germany for peace and understanding and so on. So he was the Chancellor of Germany at that time, an amazing politician. And I said, well, we'll try. Who knows? Maybe Willy Brandt will agree to be the co-host of the whole concert. And so that's what happened. We talked to actually our cultural department, which is, we call it SPD. It's a political, like in I don't know what you call it in English. It's like the Democrats party.
Party, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you got the conservatives,
And you got the liberals, or
the SPD, and then you got the real lefties, the real liberals, right? They are also liberal too. Like, I would call SPD liberals, but they're anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have our government at that time was SPD, which was really good, because Willy Brandt was SPD. So they had contact to Willy Brandt, and they talked to him, and he said, yeah, he'd come. And so we talked to Dizzy again, and I said, I'll come to New York and we'll discuss the whole thing together. you know what? He didn't want any money for the concert.
Wow.
He normally takes, quite a bit,
Yeah, yeah.
$25,000. And yeah, he was willing to do it for this peace concert. Well, it was more or less kind of a peace concert. It was a concert to raise money for the third world. That's what Willy Brandt's fund was about, right? Development and peace for the third world. So I got all these wonderful musicians from the West German radio band, VDR, big band, some amazing musicians, and they came and played. And we also had Mike Longo. Do you know Mike Longo?
I do.
And Mike Longo's been a langjährig. I'm talking German. Oh God. I think in German now. So it's been a really long year friend of mine. No, that doesn't sound very much.
That's okay. We get it though.
Yeah,
Long time friend.
Long-time friend because he's also Baha'i.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Now he left us to the spiritual world. I guess it was about 2 months ago.
Yeah, not too long.
At COVID, unfortunately. Yeah, so Mike Longo was on piano and Dizzy on the trumpet, and we had these marvelous musicians from the West German radio big band, and all these other groups for this concert. And when I heard the first chords of Con Alma, I was floored. I said, no way, this is jazz. Oh, I love it. And I went out the week after. I went and started, I registered at the university and started studying jazz immediately. And I was absolutely obsessed without end. And I was practicing 6 hours a day. And, I was a classical musician, singing in the head voice, and doing the 1 and the 3. And so I had to practice. Of course, I was able to play a little bit of piano through my studies. So I started practicing, and I was just so addicted to jazz. I just couldn't stop. And I would listen to, I just love her so much from Manhattan Transfer, the alto.
Janet Siegel.
Janet Siegel. Oh my God. Janet Siegel, I think you're so amazing. You inspired me way back then. I was listening to all your music. So what happened was I was practicing in the morning. I had 3 kids at that time, right? I was already 38 years old when I started singing jazz. Imagine. It's amazing, I think, because I don't know where I got the courage to go on and because I thought, but you know what? I always never thought of age as anything special. I just thought, I am what I am, and my age is just a number. And so it didn't even cross my mind that I was too old or anything like that. So I would practice as soon as my kids were in the kindergarten. I would start practicing. I didn't do the housework. I didn't do anything at home. Well, I did cook. I did get some things done, but I wasn't the typical housewife at all, right? I was using my time to practice. And then when the kids came home and so on and so forth, you take care. And in the evening, I had this beautiful practice room in our basement and I was down there until, I don't know, till 1 or 2 in the morning, just listening to music and practicing, playing piano. And I was addicted. I was really and it's never gone away. I've got that addiction, and I guess because it was the change was kind of difficult too, because I was already well known as a socially engaged folk singer, a la Joan Baez, and in our cultural department here in Germany, I passed around all over to the different cultural programs in different cities and so on and so forth. And our cultural attaché, he loved me, and he got me up. He was the first one who got me up on stage. Darius, my baby, he was about 11 months old, and I got my first concert through this cultural attaché from here, our city of Duisburg, as a folk singer, right? And I did that, all these folk concerts. I really did well. And then all of a sudden, as when I heard Mike Longo, play those chords from Con Alma and Dizzy playing it, I was so I changed. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care if I was going to make money. I didn't care whether, if my audience is going to go with it, all the marketing aspects. Who thinks of marketing? God, don't even know what the word means, right? And so I just changed. I changed from one genre to the next. And the jazz musicians said, "What are you doing here? You're not a jazz musician. You're a folk musician." Well, I don't care. I love jazz, and I'm going to do it. So get used to it, guys. And so it was. I had to start writing again from scratch, right? Because I wasn't able to sing jazz in the beginning. I was just beginning, and that's when I met Dizzy. When he came back, every time he came into town, he would get in touch, and then I was practicing all the time, and I was showing him what I was doing, and he said I'd play it over the telephone, or he'd give me some. Do you know Dizzy's exercise where he plays with your hands to get the rhythm? So he'd do that with me, and every time he came to Europe, we were his guests in The Hague behind the stage. Dizzy was so beautiful. He was not only an amazing musician, but he was an amazing person. Like, he was kind and loving to everybody, even the guard, the person on the door. There was nothing that he didn't have any star allures at all. And he was funny. He was really, really funny. So I really learned a lot from Dizzy, and he taught me a great deal every time he came, and we became really, really close friends. And I remember I was doing a concert here in Duisburg for the city. It was, all the big wigs of the city were there, and I did a jazz song. I had never done jazz before. And Dizzy sitting there in the audience, and I'm going, "Oh my God, I don't know if I should do this." And then afterwards he says, "Judy, you've got a beautiful voice and you don't sound like anyone else." Okay, well, that's kind of a nice compliment, I would say. Right? Although I couldn't sing jazz in the beginning, I wasn't able to phrase. I wasn't, I was still checking out my chest voice, right? And I was in the beginning. I was just in the beginning when I met Dizzy. And
This probably makes you a great teacher.
I love teaching. It's always been my passion to teach. And sometimes I think you were born with the teaching ability. Like, some people just know exactly what the person needs when they listen to them and see them and so on. And I think I'm a born teacher. I love teaching, and it's not like some of my colleagues here in Germany. No, I don't teach.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to teach. Like it's almost below their
Yeah.
right. I'm a performer.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But but when I met people like Rufus Reed, who was an amazing. I met him later when on my journey to become a jazz singer. I got to know so many amazing musicians, right? Because I was a go-getter.
Yeah.
I went where you could really learn jazz, and I was in Interlaken. I met Sheila Jordan. She became also a mentor of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have her on my show pretty soon.
It's fun. It's you really get to feel like you're part of her tribe. I had Sheila and Jay Clayton on together, and that was really fun. I know Judy's frozen, but I'm still talking. When she comes back, I will ask Mark Baldrich's question. um, and yeah, the line between here and Europe may have some freezing on it. Let's see, it's 9:30 in the evening in Europe. Maybe a lot of people. Hi, Dina DeRose. Dina DeRose, she's going to be on the show in August, I believe. I'm looking forward to that. Also, I just got a reach out from Diane Shore's manager. So I'm going to have Diane Shore on the show, and that'll be probably in August, which I'm really looking forward. Thank you, Dina. I saw also Judith Lorick is on. Hi, Judith. Judith and Rachel Caswell. Hello, Rachel. Hi. While she's connecting again, I will tell you that tomorrow I'm having a day off. I'm going to go to the beach with my grandchildren. No hugging and kissing, but you know. Let's see, Judy. So join the meeting again. Technical stuff. Then Friday I'm having Randy Crenshaw on. Randy has been called the Swiss knife of studio session singing. He can do anything. He's done studio session singing for years, and he's made an absolutely huge career out of the whole thing. So that's Friday. Saturday, for those of you who know Bobby Shue. Bobby Shue is one of the lead trumpet players that you've heard for years on a lot of different things. And he's really well known as an educator. Speaking of, as Judy was talking about performers who perform and teach, Bobby Shue. Here we go. Here she comes again. Hi, Jude. There you are. Almost. Her name is there. And Sunday I'm having avant-garde specialist Vinny Golia. I can't hear you, darling. Yeah. So much fun. Next week, Kate McGarry, Shauna Tucker, John Beasley, Nancy Kelly, Eve Evans, Robert Kyle, Alexis Cole. That's who we're having on next week, all those people. Yeah, Bobby Shue, he's amazing. I've known him for many, many years, and I'm very fond of him. He's such a good guy. His wife, too. Yeah, Dina, Nancy Kelly. I love Nancy Kelly. I love me some Nancy Kelly. She was here in LA not too long ago. I'm not sure. I think she came at the beginning of the year. Are you on?
Hello?
Oh, good. Yes, you are on.
All of a sudden, it just went out. Just stopped.
Well, technology.
Yeah.
I've been learning a little bit about some new, Jam Kazam has improved, I think, over the time. But also there's a platform called Jack Trip, which was created many years ago, actually, by people at Stanford, and it's, oh gosh, I'm just not sure how much new information I can handle at once. Because I'm really working on Friday. I have a single coming out, and I've been really trying to delve into Spotify to see how I should utilize Spotify with releasing the single. I made an iMovie for the single, which is another thing that I kind of jumped into and got together, and so I'm going to have that released on Friday. I'm just, it's fun. It's great. I'm looking forward to it,
How exciting. What's the name of the song?
The song is the old Marvin Gaye song, Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler,
Oh,
which
how
is,
cool.
yeah, it's a song I've always loved. And that record, What's Going On, was a fascination for me, not only because of Marvin's singing, which I just could die over, and his writing, but also because the production of that record was really interesting. I don't know if you know or ever noticed this, but there's no solid stops between songs. It's like one whole piece. It kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
goes down and then it goes into the next song. That always
Mhm,
fascinated me. It was more like a whole big experience rather than each separate song, you know?
mhm.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And who did you produce it with?
Well, let's see. This record, this has a little bit of a story. So, let's see, might have been 2 years ago actually, because I think I came out with, yeah, I think so, because I think I came out with Dreamsville and Straight Ahead to the UK after I had recorded that. But the idea with my friend Dan Davila, who works with me, was to have two great bands, and then we would pick songs from the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s. And so I had two amazing bands. And this one, this song was arranged by the B3 and piano player named Carrie Frank. And it's just a great arrangement. It's one of my favorites. And it's groovy and it's my kind of groovy. It's
Mhm,
not. I'm not a super funk singer, but I you know I can groove, and
mhm.
I have that whole R&B listening background and performing background because, like you, I was, you know, on the road and in Boston with band that did all kinds of music, right? So anyway, it's great. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think I created a pretty good movie video.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah.
Oh, I hope that I'm going to ask you to put it on my group. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so we can get some how do you say that in English? Get you some exposure.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're back. How about
Yeah,
that?
and Dina DeRose is here. She's saying
Oh,
hello.
Dina, I had her on my show last time too, and it was so cool.
And yeah, let's
Dear
see.
Joyce was writing, Judy has real passion for teaching and encourages people of all ages to sing with enthusiasm and optimism. She is supportive that age is never a barrier to becoming a singer. So true. It's so true. I just posted something today from a jazz pianist, 93 years old, who was dement, and he didn't want to talk to anybody. He wasn't, he just sort of gave up with the world, and then his caretaker started talking to him, and he was telling him that he used to play jazz, and then he all of a sudden got a piano into the home, and he started playing some old songs, and all of a sudden he just perked up. And then they got the old members of his band to come. They were all old fogies, but they gave a concert, and the guy, came out of his demence, and he was starting to come back to life. And I think it's just so amazing how music affects our brain, our spirit, and our soul. And I never cease to wonder that even, there was another woman that I also posted. She was playing the geiga, the violin. I think she was 92 years old, and she played like that. And I think to myself, age is nothing. Age is just a number. I mean, it all depends how you feel, what you think about yourself, and what you think about life. Like, we as jazz musicians, we don't think normal anyways. We're not from the normal world, right? Like, we sing, we play, we probably do it to the day we die, and there's no, going into pension, or I mean, maybe you do go to a pension, but you never stop. You never stop performing. You would never stop. okay, time to stop singing now. I don't think I'm going to sing anymore. Like people, normal people come up to me and say, are you still singing? I say, well, am I still breathing? You know?
Do you know that movie? I think it's called The Quartet. Takes place in England, and it's a pension, an old age home, and all the people in it are opera people,
Yes.
and it's a fantastic story. I mean, yeah, there are people who are losing it, but always the music brings it all together. And every year they work towards a performance, and they're brilliant people. And actually, the actors were the singers and musicians of the classical world. It's really, really a great movie, wonderful movie.
Yeah, I know that movie, and I know another one that I can't remember the name of it. It's for all kinds of older people, like 70 and up, playing and singing all the songs of the 70s, and they're moving and grooving and got their jeans on, and and you see how the music keeps them on living,
Yeah,
keeps them on life. And
yeah.
they're going doing concerts and they're doing tours and they're helping and supporting each other and they're full of joy and and when sometimes you see older people who are just sitting in the old people folks home just waiting more or less, what are they waiting for?
Well, that's
Um,
really a sad situation. Yeah, that's the worst situation that we look forward to or not. There's a video too that I haven't seen for a really long time. The song "My Generation," talking about my generation. I forget who the music people were. I just remember the whole effect. They were famous music people, but they got all these older people and in the studio, and they were all singing, talking about my generation. It's funny. You guys got to Google it or on YouTube. It's really great.
if I remember the name of this film too, I'll send it. I'll put it in your group because it was also an amazing. It's a documentary film actually, and
Oh, maybe you could
yeah,
pick those people actually from that video.
yeah, because how they stuck together and supported each other, and they had a reason. There was a reason to live, and
Yeah,
was really inspired to go on and stop. I've noticed this in my teaching. Every time I have a course, people come up to me afterwards. Like I have normal people. I like to teach normal people, like not just the university level. I also teach it to universities, but I love to teach normal people who just want to learn how to sing. And I'm really interested in helping people become better human beings and get more out of their life and be inspired and start to believe in themselves through singing. And I see this happening all the time, right? There's
yeah.
someone they came up to me and they said, both my parents just passed away, and I was really, really depressed. And I saw your concert, and I saw that you were doing a course. And she came into the course, and then after she says, Judy, you saved my life. And I said, no, darling, I didn't save your life. You saved your own life. The music saved your life, right? And I see this so often how people's lives change. I think that through singing, through music, we change lives. I really do believe that, especially through singing, because singing's the nearest thing to our soul, right? It's the nearest thing to anything, any instrument that you play. Singing is the most nearest to our soul because we're opening our whole self when we sing, right? So I think singing especially really affects people's psyche, and well, we know that serotonin, dopamines are all being released when you sing, and that's why people go home and they're grooving it and they're feeling happy and they're feeling inspired, and this changes lives. Once you start getting inspired about singing, you start getting more inspired about your life. Maybe you got this job that is really getting you down, and then you all of a sudden get the courage to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that job anymore. I'm going to do something that makes my life uh, happy, and this is the greatest joy that I have as a teacher. It's not just making them the greatest singers of the world. It's helping them to become wonderful, happy, inspired human beings to make their lives more meaningful through singing. Um, I think that I guess I've got sort of a like one of my students says you're sort of like a therapist, right?
Of
And that's
course, that's what we are, definitely.
yeah, as singing teachers, we're therapists because
Oh yeah.
we're filing around on the personality of the person, right? You're helping people to open and be vulnerable and allow them to make mistakes and to believe in themselves and get your voice out there and you can do it. And once people start opening, amazing, right? Once
Yeah.
I see this all the time when people start to open their voice, they
Yeah.
come into I'm not going to that microphone. No, no, no. I mean, then of course they have to because they paid to come into this. And they finally get up and sing on the microphone, and of course they're, and then at some point they really belt it out, and everybody's clapping and everybody's excited. And at the end of the course, they can't wait to get up on stage and use that microphone and start singing to the audience, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's been said, that we're empaths, right? And and we are. We're empaths. And I'm always intrigued in a workshop where I have musicians, how a musician can definitely add to the information that is given to the student. Definitely. And I totally support that and ask for it. But I am a singer and I see what the singer is thinking. And they don't necessarily see that. So then I explain in the singer's perspective. And that's always fascinated me. It's just, I mean, we are a musician. Our axe is our voice and all that it entails. Also, the fact that we're communicating, we're actually using this, one of the chakras, the main chakras, right? And
Yeah,
this is where who we are really comes out for the most part in our whole body. I mean, actions speak also, but our communication. So, yeah, the voice, it's a fascinating instrument, isn't it? It's really great. And
yeah,
teaching is, I agree with you. Teaching is it's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I have speaking of empath like qualities, I have really tapped into people's personal life without them saying a word and
exactly.
described what was happening technically in such a way that it actually brought up something very personal for them. Because that's what they're exhibiting and that's what you're picking up, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful
And
trade.
when people start to open, all of a sudden on the second day of a course, I see all these tears coming up, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Started to cry, and in the beginning I thought, oh my goodness, what did I do? But I started to realize they're releasing their pain that many people have said to me, I've always wanted to sing and I didn't have the courage, and now I'm finally doing it. And oh, why didn't I do it sooner? And da. And I say to them, just be joyful that you found it now. But it's just amazing how it affects our emotions, our life, that all of a sudden these tears come up. And sometimes people say, I don't even know why I'm crying, but I'm just, I'm just so touched from the singing. And I find that so amazing because I don't think that really happens with a piano player, and he's sitting there and all of a sudden he's going to cry his eyes out.
you don't think so?
I think for me, I think most of the greatest musicians that I admire, like Dizzy Gillespie, Rufus Reed, Kenny Barron, they were all wonderful teachers, and they all always also saw it as their what do you call that? Their to give it forward, right? To give
Yeah. Yeah.
their knowledge and on forward to the next generation. And I think that is so important that we, as musicians, as jazz singers and jazz musicians, that we give our knowledge and our knowledge and our whatever everything we have onto the next
Well,
people that we.
yeah, that's what I love about the musicians, like the ones you just mentioned, from the old school, you know, they're um, they're elegant and they are committed uh, to high quality activity, activity, and they have ethics about them, and
Oh
and just and also, like you said, paying it forward, welcoming in, all of that. And how can you not absolutely fall in love with that? It's such a huge package.
yeah. I remember when I was just beginning, when I was in I don't know where I was. I was in a course with Rufus Reed. It wasn't in Interlaken. It was somewhere else after this. And he really was strict with me, and I cried.
Oh,
But I started to realize how much he cared. Like, I mean, if you don't care, you don't bother with the student, and you say, "That was nice." I mean, I don't ever do that, but I'm sure that there are some teachers maybe who do. But that's what I love about Rufus Reed, for example. He really took me into, wir sagen in Deutsch, er hat mich durch die Mangel genommen. He really put me through, you're not doing this. You have to learn the piano. And he was really strict with me. And he said, like, I was a submarine. I was so musical, I would hear everything, and I was like a submarine under the water, but I didn't really know where I was going. And so it was a great, great lesson for me, after that workshop, to get my butt on and really get my piano playing, start working on my piano playing and really working on the theory and the harmony and learning the tools. That's what he said. You got to learn the tools,
yeah.
right? And so, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I feel so blessed that I got to have teachers like Rufus Reed and Sheila Jordan, and I was in her summer academy, or what is it? Her
In
summer
Vermont.
in Vermont.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so many amazing musicians there. I
Yeah.
just can't tell you all was there. Yeah, but I made the effort to go there from Germany, and I made the effort to go there and to take part in that
Yeah.
workshop, right? And so I was so blessed. I was so very blessed to get the inspiration and the knowledge from these wonderful great musicians. I'm
Yeah.
very thankful for that. And
That's
that
great.
yeah, and
Um,
especially Dizzy was on. That's why I dedicated that my album Con Alma to Dizzy.
yeah.
And uh,
Well, I would like to hear some more of that. By the way, I just have to say I love that painting in the background. It's those colors of red and orange are so beautiful. And I see that a friend of mine, Joe Della, has joined us. And I just had a conversation with him the other day, and I saw his work, and it's fabulous. It's very colorful as well. So hi, Joe, and look at that, those colors, Joe. Aren't they beautiful?
I mean, this one here.
Mm-hmm.
One of my students did this for me as a thank you,
Oh,
as a
really
gift. Yeah, she
yummy
was.
colors.
Yeah, I loved it. That's why it's right on my wall here.
Yeah.
I've got all kinds of. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. I have to turn this around. I got all kinds of other wonderful pictures and posters and so on, but they're on the other wall, so
I
no
have
need.
back there, I put up, you can't really see it too well, but I should actually go get it. Hold on one second.
Mhm.
I'll just show you guys. I'll try and show it. It's a There's a Brazilian singer that I had on, Katia Moraes. Oh God, sorry, Katia. Anyway, she's an artist as well. Aren't those beautiful?
Beautiful, beautiful colors. Yeah.
Yeah, these are these are cards. And last time I got cards from her, I sent them out to people. And this time I said, "Yeah, I'm going to put these up."
Beautiful. Movie Young at Heart. Yes, Dan DeVilla. Thank you. That's the movie I was talking about. And he's also put a link for it. Young at
Yeah.
Heart. That's the
Yes.
movie I was referring to. Thank you so much, Dan.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Leslie Zora actually had suggested it, and she's a really good singer. She's in Bakersfield. Well, let's listen to some more stuff. Should we listen to more of Con Alma, or what should we listen to?
Um, well, you might want to. I have another album just with ballads,
Uh-huh.
piano and voice.
Which one is
For
that?
example, it's called Roundabout Midnight.
Okay.
Lush Life is on there. We can also take
Around
another.
midnight, right?
Yeah, I mean
Right.
all of the musicians on Con Alma. That was quite a thing too, right? Getting Kenny Barron on that record and Rufus Reid and Claudia Roditi, who has just passed, unfortunately.
Oh, really? He was in Boston when I was at Berkeley.
Oh, okay. Well, he was in New York when he passed away. Yeah,
Mm.
and Reed is on that CD, and Ignacio Boroa, and John Lee, and Frank West from the Count Basie Big Band, and Paquito de Rivera. I mean, I was so lucky to get those people on that album.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you reach out yourself, or did you
yeah.
who produced that?
Because I had such a close relationship to Dizzy,
Uh-huh.
I got to know these musicians because he came here with Paquito, and he came here with some other musicians like let me see who. Oh, there were so many musicians I got to get to know through Dizzy. Kenny Barron and yeah, Ignacio was also in his band. So I was always in Dizzy's close proximity when he came over. We always got to go to his hotel room and help him get dressed and have dinner with him. And so get to know the musicians like who's that other trumpet player that I love so dearly? He was head of Carnegie Hall,
You mean Winton or somebody else?
not Winton.
Oh, head of Carnegie Hall. Wow, I don't know.
I'm thinking my brain is not working. He's an amazing trumpet player, one of Dizzy's proteges. Uh, my God, my God, my God, my God. John Fettis. John Fettis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, because I got to know these musicians, I got some wonderful opportunities because I got to sing at Dizzy's 75th birthday through invitation from John Fettis, and all of the wonderful musicians of the world were there. Like just everybody from anybody was there, and I think I was one of the very few women that performed at that anniversary with Dizzy,
Nice.
and that was something I'll never ever forget. Right. So these
Huh?
are. So what would you like to play?
I think what's up here might be Burke's Works.
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics to many of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get permission from Dizzy's his lawyer. Like you just can't write
Yeah,
lyrics to
yeah.
songs if you feel like it. And so I got permission from Lorraine, his wife, and from the lawyer.
Okay. So, anything in particular? Is Burke's Works cool or something else?
Yeah, Burke's Works is cool. Fiesta Mojo is cool. I love all of them, actually.
All right, well, let's listen to Burke's Works.
Okay.
Here we go.
You know that Dizzy is a man, and I'm sure you'll agree, who gave the world a vision for all to see. He said that his work someday and generations might be a stepping stone in service for all mankind. His gentle love brings peace and unity. Ba-do-da. He had a sense of humor which no one could compare, a feel for rhythm and harmonic flair. The way he phrased his notes was new that no one had dared, except the bird and monk, and they weren't as scared. You see, Burke's works were something great and something rare. Ba-do-da, ba-do-da. is a man, and I'm sure you'll agree, who gave the world a vision for all to see. He said that his work someday and generations might be a stepping stone in service for all mankind. His gentle love brings peace and unity. Ba-do-da. He had a sense of humor which no one could compare. I feel for rhythm and harmonic flair. The way he phrased his notes was new that no one had dared, except the bird and monk, and they weren't as scared. You see, Burke's words were something great and something rare, something rare. You see, Burke's works were something great and something rare, something rare. You see, Burke's works were something great and something rare, something rare.
Wow, that's cool. What a joy to have created that. Con Alma by Judy Rafat.
Yeah. Yeah. It was quite an adventure and a joy, something that you don't plan, something that just happens, you know? Like
Mhm.
you can plan all kinds of things in your life, but things like that you just are just I guess fate, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah, fantastic. What? Where did you record that?
In NOLA Studios in New York.
Uh-huh.
And oh my gosh, what was her name? She was just out of the studio. We could almost feel her blood in that studio. Oh my gosh. I'm so bad at names. I'll think about it and let you know. But NOLA Studios, it was a great studio.
By the way, did you see that it was Young at Heart? Oh yeah, you did see that.
Yeah,
that
I did.
documentary.
Yeah, that was the name of the film.
I'm
It was
I'm
very
definitely gonna look at that.
Oh, it's wonderful. I'd like to see it again because it gives you such a joy to see people over 70 who are so enthused and so inspired and have so much joy in life. You know, if everybody would sing in the world, wouldn't we just have another world? If people would sing more, and if older people would get out there and sing and not just sit in some kind of an old folks home and wait for whatever to come along, I think that would be so wonderful. We'd probably never have any more wars or anything. We would just probably have a much more peaceful world, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was a great period in my life, and
Regarding those songs, who arranged them?
Mike Longo.
Okay,
Mike
Mike Longo.
did all the arrangements of the Con Alma album.
So, was Mike playing on it or no? He just arranged.
I played too. He played, for example, on Reverend G. Now, the song that we just heard, Burke's Works, was Kenny Barron, and on the first tune, also Kenny Barron. Also, Paquito played clarinet and saxophone on some of the tunes. That was really interesting. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it was I'm sure they won't get a hold of this, but you never know, right?
You never know.
When we were in studio in NOLA Studios, Paquito and Claudio, they had a little bit of difficulties with each other. So because of the political situation in Cuba. Was it? Wait a second. Who else was on that album that I've forgotten? 9. It was Ignacio Baroa. He comes from Cuba. Claudio comes from Brazil. So they had some kind of clash, and so Paquito refused it, or one of them refused to come into the studio when Paquito was still there. So, we did the whole tracks first of all, and Paquito came in afterwards to do his solos. But Ignacio had to be out of the studio first, so that was kind of,
Wow.
I thought, oh my goodness, won't he be able to get those two in the studio at the same time, right?
That's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, so
wow. That's really wild. Um,
yeah.
so how long did the project take to record?
Oh, the recording, 2 days.
Okay.
I
And then,
we had one probe, one rehearsal. Can you believe it? I mean, these guys are just amazing,
well,
right?
yeah, and also I'm sure Mike Longo wrote great arrangements and,
He did.
that they
He
could
did.
totally relate to because
It
he's
was
been
amazing.
arranging for so many
It's such a
years.
joy. Here I am. I'm young and playing with these amazing musicians. I was shaking in my boots. You can believe me. And when we went into the
Sounds
rehearsal,
beautiful.
and Frank West is sitting beside me, and he's taken breaking the sandwich off and gives me the half, and just so gracious and so sweet, and so this is what I love about these wonderful musicians, like people who are really, really, they're really into their music and really have made something of their music. They don't need to put on any allures and talk bad about somebody or put people down or be difficult with singers or all that stuff. Like there's just not even a spur. Can you say spur in English?
Um,
Not
a little bit or something.
nothing. And also kind and helpful. And they saw that I was nervous, right? And they supported me all the way. It was so amazing. And yeah, they played the stuff in 2 days, and we were finished with that whole album.
Isn't it
And
interesting what happens after a project like that? You actually you have a big win, but then you also have a bit of a loss because it's not happening again.
yeah, yeah. The thing is, what happened afterwards? I had it was with a record company called Timeless from Holland, one of the biggest record labels here in Europe. But they didn't do anything much for I mean, I'm sure we all have this problem with our albums that the record company doesn't do what they say they were going to do. And I was supposed to, because when I performed at Dizzy's 75th birthday celebration, and the album was just coming out, and I had, what was his name? From New York, who was going to do all of the publishing, the press, and sending it all over to the radio stations and so on and so forth. And my record company just didn't get in touch with him. And there was another guy who was going to do the press in Germany. Didn't happen. And I was so young and so
Naive, kind of.
inexperienced and not knowing how to. I should have had a lawyer on the deal, right? And they just did not pull through with anything that they said. So not really a lot of people. It really this record never really got out. Actually, like people don't really know much about it unless well, I did meet some people when I was in Canada or I was in the United States, and they said, oh, I've got your album, and I think, oh, how amazing is that? How did they ever get it? Like, and I never got 1 cent from the record company all those years, Kathy. Not a cent. Nothing. And they were still like even up until when was it? I'm with this other record company right now, and I got in touch with them, saying, you're still promoting my album after how many years?
Wow.
Like I did it in 1999, and they were still promoting it 2 years ago and still selling it. I got from their
Wow.
other or their sister, whatever, this other company, they
Yes.
sent me all of the records that had been sold. I mean, all kinds of them. And I'm thinking, okay, but what can you do, Kathy? I had a lawyer, and wasn't able to get anywhere. And so at some point I just said, c'est la vie. I put,
Yeah, it's a weird business. It's really a weird business, even if they're good. But I mean, it's just you're not in it really to make money, and unless you do it yourself or you know, yeah, it's not for wusses, that's for sure, right? What you know
right?
that word wuss?
No, what's that?
Well, it means basically the nice way of putting it is, like a weakling, you know.
Oh, okay. No, this game is not for weak souls, right?
Yeah.
I try to tell that to my students. If you're going to become a professional singer, you gotta have you gotta have the strongs, right? You gotta be persistent. And
Yeah.
what's going on with my computer here? This keeps on going out here.
By the way,
Oh,
Joe Goldberger, who's a great drummer and composer, he said, "Does Judy recall Dizzy when he lived in Englewood, New Jersey in the 80s? I lived there and used to see him walking outside in his bathrobe and slippers. He'd smile and wave hello."
yes, yes. That concert was in Englewood. That
Oh.
his 75th birthday celebration was in Englewood.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and if anybody knows his wife, she was a real strong. She really kept after Dizzy, and she took care of the money and so on and so forth. Lorraine, I got to know Lorraine, thank the Lord, and we got a very good relationship. And when Dizzy started, getting really sick,
Yeah.
91, he had Bauchspeicheldrüsenkrebs. I don't know how to say that in English. That is Bauchspeichel. What is a Bauchspeichel? That means, I don't know. I'd have to look it up in the dictionary. It's he had sugar,
Diabetes or something?
diabetes. Yes, he had diabetes. And what is that sickness that has to do with diabetes? Bauchspeicheldrüsen. Wait a
Uh,
second. I'm going to look it up here. I have a dictionary because I cannot get along in English when I'm doing my courses without a dictionary. There's just so much vocabulary I have lost.
do you teach your courses in English?
Now I do my online courses, but I've been teaching 35 years offline in German. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bauchspeicheldrüsen. Here we go. Pancreatic cancer.
Oh, cancer.
That
Okay.
is with his sugar, with the
Oh,
fetus. Yeah, and so I got to talk to him on the telephone when he was, just a couple day or so before he left this world.
yeah.
And I felt really grateful that Lorraine let me do that, right? Because I mean, he's got all kinds of people around him, kind of thing. Yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful time that I can't even imagine how it even happened, to tell you the truth. We had a connection. We just had this really, really close, it was like karma connection. And yeah, it was just wonderful right to the very end. And that's why I dedicated this album to him. And they're all compositions of Dizzy's, every one of them, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's
Well, that's
with
great.
the record companies. I think we as jazz musicians, we don't. I don't know. I'm talking about myself. We don't think about too much about promoting ourselves enough, about marketing. We don't know too much about marketing. We think we're
Yeah.
the artists, and the
Well,
record companies come along and that's going to take care of you and do the promotion and do all the marketing, and it doesn't happen for the most part, unless you're Diana Krall or something like that, right?
that to that degree, yeah. Yeah, let's see, what was I doing last night? I was talking to Dan about, well, there's so many things I'm looking at, and my desire would be to connect them all and release them all together, as connecting. I have a Patreon account, but I haven't really released it in the world. I have Spotify, which I'm trying to intensify. I have the single. I have the show, which I'm trying to promote into areas like All About Jazz, picks it up and promotes it online, and all these different things start coming in. And but the thing is, I mean, you could make a full-time job out of that. And I really don't want to. I want to do what feels okay to do, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really don't want to take it all encompassing serious. I'm too, it's been, I don't want to say too old. I've been at this too long. And at this point, I just want to do what I want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can absolutely understand that. Like, there's just things I don't do anymore. I just don't want to perform in certain places or whatever. I just, those times are gone. Now I'm planning a tour, a Desi Gillespie tour
Ah,
with all the arrangements that were on the album. Now I want to do something like that, you know, and I'm planning a Christmas tour. I recorded a Christmas CD last year. It was my dream. My son said to me, "You're out of your head. Why are you producing? Why are you recording a Christmas CD? 25,000 people have done that. It's like opening the window, mom, and throwing your money out because this is the very, very first time that I produced it myself. Like I put the money into it. Like I've never done that before. I've always had a record company, but because record companies were more or less, fading away,
mm-hmm.
um, there wasn't hardly any real record companies left, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
And so we were already into self-producing. So I produced this record and I had wonderful Corey Allen. Do you know Corey?
I do.
Corey, and yeah, he's so marvelous from Manhattan Transfer, right? And he did all of the arrangements and played piano on the album. And we also have a string orchestra on there, and we did some really beautiful concerts last year here in the state theaters. And I'm concentrating on as soon as this COVID gets a little more off the chart, to do more concerts with the Duisburger Symphony Orchestra, with his Christmas album. And I've got some other things set up with a big band and this tribute to Dizzy. But I'm not going to go off and say, okay, I have to play every little gig anymore. No, I'm not doing that. I do what makes me feel good, where I feel like I want it. Like we're not we're not jingling anymore like way back when you played wherever you could, right? Those were the days where
Yeah.
you played wherever you could and whatever. I don't do that anymore,
Huh.
and I prefer to teach rather than having to play in places that are not necessarily underlying under how do you say it? Unterstützen, supporting jazz. And right now, of course, there's nothing going on. They're doing small things where people are out, like they're 2 meters from each other, and what kind of an atmosphere is that?
I know. And yeah, I know it's well, we're all talking about that and how it's feeling and how we want it to be and yeah, and how we miss it. And I think it's gonna kind of work itself out over the next few months. And there will be some really cool things that'll come out of it, and some will probably part of it. I have a feeling will just be how it is right now. It's just not really doing much. Um, I could create going somewhere right now and doing a gig. Um, and it's interesting because I kind of feel like, oh, do I really want to do that? But it's, it's, I don't know, which is a really interesting thing. I think,
Well, yeah, I understand you completely because it takes a lot of effort. Like when I perform, do my general performing here in Germany, what I've been doing, like jazz clubs, jazz festivals, cultural Veranstaltungen, cultural events, and so on. But you do get tired. It takes a lot of energy, right?
Yeah.
So there's not that much money coming in from a jazz club. They're not subsidized here. At least we do have people who are coming there are real fans, which is really great. But it's hard to like my colleagues who are in my band. They're playing where they were playing 6 nights a week, more or less, to make the rounds with their families and so on and so forth. And now some of them have also started teaching a couple of years ago. But it's not easy as a jazz musician to earn a living anywhere, whether it's in the United States or even in Germany. And when you think about all of the effort you have to make, you drive, like for example, I had a concert in Siegen, which is about 2.5 hours from here. So you prepare for the concert, you have to have all the charts ready, you have all the program ready, and you go to the gig. I mean, used to, you had to take your PA system with you and then, set it up. Well, in the jazz clubs, usually there is the PA system. So, but then you come there and, the musicians set up and you have a little go through maybe of a couple of tunes, and then you do a concert for 2 hours and you drive home again for 2 hours. So how much work is that for what do we get as jazz musicians here in Europe? If we're lucky, if we're really, really lucky, 300 euros for a gig, right? Except for the jazz festivals. You're going to get more at a jazz festival. Or if I do the state theaters, they pay well because it's culture. It's paid from the state, right?
Yeah. We had a question a while back, and this is apropos. How do you feel? Is there a difference between audiences in America and Europe?
Yes, definitely. Living in Germany has shown me how serious-minded. I'm talking generally, yeah. I'm talking generally,
Yeah.
But how serious-minded the jazz fans are here, and when people come to a concert, like they take it real serious, like, and they really give you as a musician, they really give you the support and are really listening, and it's a joy, really, as a jazz musician to sit in an audience where people are really listening, right? So I don't know if you go to Blue Note in New York, people are also listening. I wouldn't say that the audience is so much different. If you go to a jazz club, like Iridium or Blue Note or whatever, people are going. Those are people are going to be really serious about, listening.
So it's more it's more the venue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more the venue.
And
But,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I had another question, which is a little off the topic. How do you feel about in-ear monitors that a lot of singers use today versus standard speakers or wedges?
I don't like it. I think that a singer should be able to hear from a monitor what she's singing, and in the ear you can't hear the other musicians. It's not supportive of the communication with the other musicians. I feel if you've got these things in your ears. So I guess I'm pretty purist when it comes to things like that. Like I personally don't want to have anything in my ear. I want to hear my voice as a whole coming out of the speakers, right? And I think that the musicians want to hear that too. They want to hear what's going on. They want to hear that you got to get that spiritual communication with the musicians. And how can you do that if you've got things in your ears?
Take that banana out of your ear.
Yeah, right. Yeah, put your ears out. People do that a lot in United States.
I don't know of too many jazz people who do. I know a few, and I wonder if Tierney has ever talked about that. I kind of feel like she has, but mostly I feel like it's more rock or pop people, you know, or
They do.
maybe vocal groups like the guy, one of the youngest member of my Fish to Birds group, which is my a cappella improv vocal group. He's in another group. Sorry, Tracy, I have forgotten the name of the group. Anyway, it's a like a six-piece male group, and they use ear ear
Okay, I think
earpieces.
for groups that are really, really loud, like as a jazz group, we're playing acoustically more or less. Like the bassist has is what do you call it? Is going over his system, and the saxophonist is going to be on a mic, and the pianist also. But it's more or less more acoustic. It's not a loud music kind of thing, right? So if you're in a rock group and you can't hear your voice because they're so loud, whatever, maybe they need it for that.
Well, like this particular group I'm talking about, I think it's the voices. They want to hear each other. They hear that in the earpieces. They don't hear
Okay.
just themselves. They hear a mix. And
Hmm.
so
I think that I can imagine that that would be helpful.
yeah, yeah.
I can imagine that.
Joe, I'm curious why you asked that. I'm just curious. Joe is, as I said, he's a great drummer and a composer, and he and his wife make movies. I just saw something that they did, which was fantastic. But he also, years back, he developed. This is so interesting. I don't even know if you're still doing it. Oh, thanks, Dan. The group was called Impact. But Joe developed this. Basically, it was a box of for your CDs. You would take the cover of your CD, throw it away, and then you would put the CD and the cover into like a little plastic piece. And so you would have this whole box of CDs and plastic.
Yeah,
You know, it
yeah.
was great. And a lot of people actually purchased it. It was a great idea.
Hmm.
Oh, I see. They also provide protection from loud stage volume, the hearing.
Yeah,
Hearing.
yeah. I think that's, if they're really, really, in a loud group, then they want to be protected. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. So how many CDs or how many recordings have you made?
I have 6 albums out on the market,
Hmm.
plus a vocal teaching uh, album,
Oh,
CD for vocal exercises that people take to practice with.
uh-huh.
And right now, I'm not even thinking of doing another album. I don't know why. I feel so, during this COVID time, I'm not singing a lot, except when I'm practicing, or it's different. It's just a different atmosphere. Like I feel like I'm not thinking too much now of the future, right? Like, oh, what do you want to do? Are you going to do another album soon, or um, all I want to do right now is to plan a tour, a Dizzy Gillespie tour, doing all of his compositions and doing this Christmas tour. That's what I would like to do. But as far as a new album, you just bringing out a single. So you've obviously been thinking about recording in this COVID time.
Well, I have all the musicians' parts done. And it's
Uh-huh.
two great bands, and I just did scratch vocals. I happened to do a good scratch vocal on this particular song, so I could edit that instead of really going in. And and I did actually during this time go into a studio and record a song from a friend of mine who passed away. I wrote this song, but that was a very controlled situation, and and so, but what I do have planned is to go into the studio to finish the vocals on this project. So it's something I'm looking forward to. It's not something totally that I haven't thought about, but there's so many different projects that we have on our plates, right? And I mean, look at you. You're starting a workshop, right? A
Oh, it's
class.
driving me crazy. Online teaching is driving me absolutely berserk.
But you're starting that Monday, right? Or last Monday you
Just
started.
started on Monday.
Yeah,
Today's Wednesday. We started on Monday,
yeah.
and I got 10 people into the group, and it was, generally speaking, I don't have to search anywhere to get people in my courses at all. Like I was doing one course on Tuesday in Dusseldorf, two courses in Duisburg, a beginner and an advanced, another one in another city in Mülheim, and then I was on the road every single weekend with doing either a workshop or performing. And now I have to put so much work into creating one course. But okay, as one of the people in my I'm getting some help, and he said, well, when you were just starting out offline, you also had to get your audience and so on and so forth. But I never had any trouble because I'm an English, because I am a mother tongue English. I have a plus here in Germany, and especially if you're singing jazz, right? People want to learn from someone who has the vowels and the pronunciation of someone who is a mother speaker. So I've always been booked out with teaching. I never ever ever had to look for students or put an ad in the paper or you know do any of that stuff. I did flyers way back when, like flyers that you take and you put somewhere. I did that, but generally speaking, I never did any advertising whatsoever. I just did a lot of workshops and in the community colleges, and of course those people came and I got them into my courses, into my private courses, right? And so it's it's now kind of with this online thing. I'm still wondering if I still want to continue doing it because it's so much work. But I was just thinking, once I get this course finished, right? I'm creating the content for next week now, right? So I'm almost finished with it. And once I have those 4 weeks full with the content, the course is finished, and I
Yeah.
can sell it again.
Mm-hmm.
And with the 5 day challenge that I put a lot of work into,
Uh-huh.
it's there, and I can put it out there again.
What is the
And
5 day challenge?
the 5 day challenge was singing jazz made easy. It was a 5 day challenge of helping people to learn the basic tools of singing jazz. How to use your voice, your head voice, your mixed voice, um, your chest voice, and mixing it all together. Being able to get you the right key to sing it, just to get people a little bit, get those tools that they can go out and go to a session, and they've got their charts, they got their key, they know what they're going to sing, and help them prepare a few songs for for a session, or what they're going to maybe get a band together or whatever, that they get a repertoire together.
That's
So I
great.
have,
I really like that marketing. That is marketing, 5 day challenge. I mean, that's great.
yeah, well, it took a lot of work because every single day I went live with a live training. And of course, I had to organize everything, and I'm not such a good organizer, Kathy. I'm a hands-on person. what is going on with my computer? It keeps turning off. So I'm a hands-on person. Like I never did a lot of writing stuff. I never did a lot of written things for my courses. I prepare, I pick the songs, I get the lyrics, I get the notes, I record it and put it all on a CD, the original from maybe Ella Fitzgerald or, a master, and they get the playback, and then we go to the course and we work together on the songs. I work together with them on their vocal technique. We work on the songs, and everyone then gets up in front of the group and performs, right? And so my expertise is being able to know exactly what somebody wants and what somebody needs in their voice, and I can help them within a couple of minutes to change a certain problem that they're having. And that's my expertise. But I'm not good at organizing. I'm not good at, now I wrote a whole thing about how to breathe properly. Well, generally, when I'm in a course, I tell them and show them, and I have my exercises, but I don't have any written stuff about it, right? So now I'm sort of,
Yeah.
having to sit down and write all this stuff, and um, that's not really my thing. But actually, it's not bad because
It's
I'm
not
now
bad. Yeah.
I'm collecting like all of the material, and I'm writing things now and creating, for example, how to sing the blues and where does the blues come from. I have a whole program on that now. So it's finished, right? So I have all of this stuff, where before I didn't have anything anywhere, right? I just go to the courses. I show the people how to sing. I show them how to perform. I show them how to whatever. Go back home. Finished.
It's the I wonder what I would call it. It's a product of what's happening now. You are learning. You're learning new things, just like me. I mean, I got this microphone. The next thing I'm plugging in is the audio interface, and then I'm opening up GarageBand and,
Yeah.
got on iMovie, and yeah, I mean, it's the learning. It's learning, and it's good. I mean, it's definitely it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I mean, when you're learning, easy is not always the best, right?
There's a learning curve to all of this tech stuff, absolutely. And I just signed up for a special program. It's called Groove Funnels, and it's a marketing how to get your stuff set up on a funnel so that you can put it out there and earn money with it, right? I never thought about earning money before. Like I was just in my world, singing my jazz, being completely inspired, right? With passion. But now I'm learning about marketing. I never learned about marketing before, and how to market your courses, how to market yourself as a singer, what is necessary, and that requires really a learning curve, and you have to sit down and learn this tech stuff. It drives me up a wall, but I'm not giving up. And I just thought to myself, I just paid $1,397 for this Groove Funnels. But once you have it for life. It was one of these one payment for life deals where if you are with ClickFunnels, I don't know if you know anything about ClickFunnels. These are funnels. These are helping you. These are marketing systems to, for example, I have my 5-day challenge in this funnel. It's finished. It's already in there with the opt-in. It's already in there with the thank you page. It's already in there with the sales page. It's all finished. You get it?
Yeah,
So you put it into this funnel, and then afterwards you can put that out and sell it.
right, right. It's a way of organizing the
Yeah, it's a way of
whole
organizing.
thing.
You have your sales page somewhere in your
Yeah,
computer, and you have an opt-in, a freebie, because you want to get people's, I never knew all this stuff before. You want to get people's email addresses so that you can offer them certain products that you have or a course that you have, and you have more people that you can get in touch with, right?
yeah.
And so That's what funnels are for. And this group funnels, I'm getting kind of excited about it. And I thought, I can't do this. This is too much. Are you crazy, Judy? Like you can do webinars with it. You have a place for all your videos instead of Vimeo, paying extra for Vimeo. There's it also has a email marketing system in it, so you don't need Mailchimp or ActiveCampaign or all of that stuff. And what else is in there?
Wow, that's a lot, actually.
Everything is in there. A membership area so that you can place your courses, do your courses on there, and everything's membership. You have a membership, and you've got your course one, like the course that I'm doing right now, singing jazz mastery program. That's a program. It's all in your membership site. You can sell it when it's finished. I have about 4 other opt-in 5-day challenges that just flopped completely because I didn't know how to do the marketing with it. That I've got them there and I'm going to get them out again. So you can put that all in your membership areas. You've got everything together. So if somebody wants to buy something from you or get your courses, this is my course. This course costs so and so, right? It's an evergreen afterwards. It's not a live course like what I'm doing now. I'm doing every Tuesday I do a live training. This week we're just working on vocal technique, breathing, articulation, projection of the voice, head voice, mixed voice, and chest voice. And we're also singing Summertime. So now next week I'm going to be working on the blues, and the week after that we're going to be doing a bossa nova, Girl from Ipanema, and the week after that we're going to be doing a ballad, so that they get to learn all the different genres of jazz, right?
Let me ask you
So
something. So when you have a group who joins, let's say you have two guys, let's say you have a bass and a tenor, and then you have
them
your
guys,
altos and you have your girl altos and sopranos. How do you how do you how do you give everybody summertime or you know how do you or do you find there are difficult moments in teaching because of that, because of everybody's different range?
once in a while, I only give one key for everything. And if they find, okay, this is too low for me, then I will help them to get another chart and to transpose it into another key that is more you know fits to their voice better. But generally speaking, um, if a tune, I usually have the tune. 80% of my clientele are women, and all of the people that were in my 5-day challenge were women. And I do have a few guys, like 80%, let's say 2 guys out of 10, and the rest are women.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not going to target my stuff to men when I have all these women in there. And so it usually works out really, really well. Then if it happens that a tune is too high for the guys and they have to sing it too low, well, I definitely have to change that, right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they can sing the tune a little lower. And very often, guys want to sing real high. They think that's cool. They want to sing, whatever, high, high, high. And when I get them down there to sing a little bit in the lower area, they're not used to that, and it's something new for them. And they strengthen their voice, and they start to they may not want to perform it in that key, but it helps them to develop their voice in that area where they've only been concentrating on maybe singing the high register, right?
Yeah, yeah. I also have a question from Joe. He said, how difficult is it to teach someone to sing on pitch? Or do you have to be born with it, or is it a combination of both? This will
I
be
believe,
yeah, go ahead.
I believe that everyone can sing, everyone
Me too.
in their own tempo, in their own ability. Everyone has the right to sing. And if somebody says to me, do you think is it worth me taking singing lessons? And I said, well, what are you here for? What is this? Oh, I've always wanted to sing. I've always wanted to sing. I said, well, there, you just answered your own question, right? Now, I also get people here who are really, really have problems with their pitch. And they come to me and they really want to learn it, and they can learn it. It's just training.
Yeah.
Not even with some students, I'm just doing Hänschen klein. You know that? Probably not. It's a German word.
No.
Hänschen klein ging allein in die weite Welt hinein. Stock und Hut steht ihm gut. Hat groß Gemut. Aber Mama weinte. It's a simple children's song, and it's not difficult, right?
Yeah.
I worked with them a couple of weeks on just singing Hänschen klein,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hänschen, no, a little bit higher, no, a little bit lower. Hänschen klein, and then they do about 4 or 5 notes, and they finally get that. They start to hear it, right? You
Right.
start to train it. And they're so excited about that because nobody has ever taken the time or would even, have the interest in helping somebody who doesn't know how to reach the right pitches. But I like to do it. I like to help people. I like to have them, I love to see when they have a success. Gives me joy. And when they've come out of, maybe have done a few weeks of these, they come to private lessons to learn this. And all of a sudden, they're so excited. They're going to sing at their mother's birthday party. They're going to sing Hänschen klein, and they can now sing it. And nobody's never been able to do it in
Oh.
their life. What do you think is going to happen to that person's Selbstbewusstsein, their self-confidence? It's amazing what that can do. So I personally believe, of course, they're not going to become a professional. And then I say to them, do we all have to become fucking professionals? No, right? Singing is there to make people happy. And if you have joy in singing, everyone should have this opportunity to sing. And that's the kind of people I like to teach because it changes their lives.
Yeah.
These people never, ever, so many people who come, they wait a whole year before even, registering for one of my courses. And they say, yeah, I was so afraid. And then they finally do it and they get all this joy and they're, and life begins anew. And I think, isn't that amazing? Like, I also teach at the university. I teach some really fantastic, talented people.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them too, right? It's a joy to be able to teach someone who, catches it right away, and you can do all kinds of super advanced stuff and improvise with them and all that. But I don't think it changes their lives that much. They may start to become more confident with their singing, but someone who has never believed that they can really sing, and then all of a sudden they start, and I've seen amazing development in people who start with me. And I have a woman, she's been coming to me for about 7 years, and she's about 70, 70
Uh-huh.
or whatever. And she wasn't able to sing at all. It was only this choir kind of voice,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and then getting her to start to use her chest voice. And now she's get up at a concert and she sings a whole jazz tune and she's swinging it and she's got the groove and she's singing in tune and loving it.
It's
And
really
it
nice to see somebody develop into that. Yeah, I've seen that too over the years. It's really, yeah, it's a lovely thing. Yeah, it's probably like being a parent, right? And seeing your child grow into their own, with some guidance from you, but still they're growing into their own person. And
yeah.
yeah, lovely.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think that even teachers in school, like, I remember my son had this one teacher. My son was not too good at school. My oldest one, very, very talented musician. And but he had this one teacher, and he was a great teacher. It was his Latin teacher. And what I noticed was when a teacher is inspired and is, really, really loves what he's doing, he can really change the life of a student. And I think all teachers have this capability of changing lives with people. And I think a lot of teachers do that. Um, Not just singing teachers, but general teachers, if they're good teachers in the school system that can really, encourage a young person to go in a certain direction. Like I remember my music teacher. I went back to Canada 2 years ago, and we met all of our high school um, mates. What do you call them? Our high
Yeah, you had
school
like a reunion, right?
reunion, yeah. Now, we hadn't seen each other in 45 years, right? And my music teacher was still there, and we all loved him. And every single person said this teacher changed their lives,
Mm.
changed the direction of their lives. It changed mine. I started to study music because of him, right? And I think it's amazing what we as teachers can accomplish in helping people to become more confident, to start to believe in themselves, to encourage them to become something more than they ever thought they could, right? And of course, they don't have to become professionals. They just have to, start loving music and start working on their voice. How much can a person develop with their voice? Amazing how they can develop, even if they're not talented or super whatever, right? And they're not going to become any Jane Monheit or whatever, right? So I think it's really, really exciting, and I'm not just interested in for me as a teacher to say, well, my student is now singing whatever in Carnegie Hall or whatever. I mean, that's wonderful too, but I don't need that as for my ego. I want to see people change, changing their lives, becoming more happy, making a difference in their lives. That's my goal as a teacher. And
Well,
I think
that seems, I don't want to interrupt you, but that seems like a good place to stop our conversation. But did you want to finish your thought?
I think also as a singer, my goal is to touch people's hearts. I'm sure it is for you too.
Sure.
It's to give. It's not to take. It's to give. To give what God has given us as talent, and to be able to touch those hearts, and maybe they go home and are inspired, and it makes them happy, and they've been able to start something new or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're blessed to be singers and teachers, and to be able to do a job that we love. I mean, God, isn't that amazing, Kathy? We're doing jobs that we love, and other people are going to a 9 to 5, and whatever, hanging in there for 35 years or 40 years or whatever, doing something that they don't necessarily love. So it's been amazing. I can't believe we've been on here for 2 hours,
I
Kathy.
know the 2 hours always, at the beginning, people are always like, 2 hours? What am I going to say for 2 hours? And then at 2 hours, it's like, really? It's been 2 hours?
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank you for giving us your time. And I know it's a bit late over there. And thanks so much for sharing. You're so kind and quality minded, and you've had such a beautiful, embracing life. So thank you for sharing all that with us.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much for having me on your program. I'm very honored and very, very happy to be here. And I send everyone who's on here love, and I love hearing all these German words. I can say in my course right now, sometimes searching for vocabulary. Agreed. I love to teach. Joe loves to teach too. Thank God there are great teachers like you. Well, thank you, Mark. That is wonderful. Thank you. And Kathy too. She's an amazing teacher too. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here and taking your time to be with us today. It's been amazing. And I hope that our paths will cross again, Kathy. that we can maybe see each other in real life.
Me too.
And
That would be great, wouldn't it?
yeah, so maybe you can come to Germany or I'll come to California.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Well, the invitation is open to you to come here, and I'd put you up, and I'd set up a workshop. And
Gosh!
yeah,
Are you kidding?
no, I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do that. I was 2 years ago. I was in California. I did the ride from San Francisco down to Hollywood and driving my car all by myself. I was scared a
Oh,
lot. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here, and I bless everyone and have a brilliant, brilliant rest of the summer, where however that may be. Stay healthy, stay happy, and swing it, and keep singing.
thanks, Judy. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Bye
Bye.
bye. And I'm gonna play a little Con Alma on the way out, and also remind everybody that I have to look because my brain cells are so moving. I know tomorrow I'm going to the beach with my grandchildren. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Rand, Randy Cranshaw, who's like a great studio session singer on Friday. Saturday, the great Bobby Shue, who's one of the top lead trumpet players in jazz and also a great educator. And Sunday, very big avant-garde multi-woodwindist. Is that the word? Woodwindist. I think so. Vinny Golia. And he is really involved. I mean, he's been doing it for years. He's very deep in, great player. And a few people next week. Nancy Kelly, great singer from the East Coast. Uh, then Tuesday we have a combination: Kate McGarry, Lenora Hammonds, and Shauna Tucker. Really very talented people. And then John Beasley on Wednesday. But anyway, we're keeping going, and looks like I'll be having Diane Shore on in August, and yeah, a lot of
cool.
cool people. So
Very.
keep
Thank you so much for all your effort here and doing these every single day. It's an amazing consistency that you have. I really um
thanks.
I don't know the English word. I adore you.
Thank you.
Think it's wonderful what you're doing. You're really supporting so many other musicians to showcase them. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Okay,
Okay,
bye bye.
bye.
And here's Con Alma. Beautiful song by Dizzy. Con Alma.
With my soul, I greet every dawning day with faith and hope that we will survive. I pray. All we need is trust in the great I am. Then search our hearts for love of our fellow man. We have only just so long
Beautiful. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. See you Friday. I'm going to get off before I have a coughing attack. Too late. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. See you Friday. Thank you. Thanks, Judy Rafat.